Here we go. Get ready to have a good time. This is exciting, isn't it?
All right, we're on. Hello, testing.
Welcome aboard the Dreamliner.
It's the only way to fly.
I've allotted 1 hour for recreational activity. There's no time for irrelevant conversation. Fun will now commence.
Gary.
Here's a young speaker who is really in demand.
Don't let that go to your head, Gary. But wait, there's more. 4, 3, 2.
He's Gary Meyer.
Oh, hey there. Gary says he's warmed up his Yappitizers, whatever that means. It is just past 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time, which is, well, get this, 11:45 p.m. in Kathmandu, Nepal, 3:30 p.m. in St. John's, Newfoundland, and 1 p.m. in Farmers Branch, Texas. Yes, listeners Patty and Paul, time zones are really funny things. But no matter where you are, it's time for a digital mimosa. It's cocktail hour on the Garrforce, and time for the next live edition of the Garry Meyer Show. Comments are welcome during our live show on Facebook and YouTube. Text us at 773-888-2157. Regular charges may apply. Now, fasten your seatbelts. It's time to go wheels up on the Garrforce Live.
Yes, listeners Patty and Paul pointed out that some countries have time on the half hour and the 45-minute mark. What the hell is wrong with them? How does that work? That makes no sense. All right, thank you for joining the cocktail hour today. It is brought to you by, as every podcast is, the premium members who have signed up for those lengthier shows. Thank you for doing that. By Bettenhausen Automotive in Tinley Park and Orland Park, Illinois, and by Team Hochberg, your mortgage experts. There's that handsome man, David Hochberg. A lot of people checking in already. You got Debbie and Bruce and Chris, Catherine, Mark, Chuck, Katie. We're doing this every Friday, and we're enjoying the bejesus out of it. I hope you are too. Coming up in just a few minutes, my guest will be John Davies. He is a TV producer, a filmmaker, and he has done a lot of different things. We'll talk about a lot of them, but the thing we're going to focus on this week is this documentary he has done called Lincoln is Crying, and we'll find out why Lincoln is crying in just a few minutes. Leslie, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, Mr. Meyer. Happy Friday.
Yes, it is. What are you drinking?
Cheers. I wanted to mix it up because I've been drinking wine every show so far. I've been drinking a lot of Arnold Palmer's, so today I turned it into a John Daly, and
nice.
This is delish.
Yeah, that is lemonade and iced tea and liquor.
You betcha.
Yes.
And I'm stirring it with a Crystal Piggy swizzle stick today, just to make it really fancy.
That's nice. Thank you. We also want to feature some T-shirts that listener Matt has made and sent to you, and he sent me T-shirts also. We thought we'd do a little shout out to Matt.
Because he went through the effort. And so here's the first one, and it is a Free the Schnauzer T-shirt.
That's a Free the Schnauzer. Now, Schnauzer is in orange, so it's hard to see over pink, but that's what it says.
Yeah. And the other one, he made one for my high school alma mater, which no longer exists, but was a girls' school on the north side of Chicago, and that's Good Counsel. And it shimmers.
And he bedazzled that one.
Yes, he did.
Yes. So, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Appreciate it. Oh, speaking of listeners sending stuff, I want to thank my friend Roberto. He sent me these. They're fuel gloves by WeatherTech, and you use those. Okay, remember when I started using latex gloves at the gas pump years ago, and people thought I was a germaphobe? How do I look now?
Pretzel, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you know what they say. They say things behind my back or in front of my face or whatever they do. Now I don't look so weird, do I? Now they have actual gloved, well, I got the googly eyes. All right, Ellen has put together googly eyes on all kinds of stuff. You got the COVID spore with googly eyes. You got that one, Alan, because he loves there it is. F you, COVID spore. Okay, thank you, Roberto. And Ryan from Wisconsin sent me glove, G-H, glove, glove, to keep your hands clean during the pandemic. Thank you, Ryan. And he sent me a face mask. It's one of those black ones. I look like Batman when I go in the store.
It's what all the cool boys are wearing these days. Yeah.
Right. Aren't you liking all the different face masks you see? This one, this is a black. It's black. Nice.
Oh.
Black. It's nice. Okay.
I'm getting really tired of people broadcasting with those on, though, because I kind of need to see their lips sometimes.
Do you?
Well, you can't tell what they're saying.
To see if they have a pretty mouth? Is that why?
You know they got a pretty mouth.
Yeah, they got a pretty mouth. So we're going to show some videos that we always do every week that we found over the week that we thought were kind of interesting. And we're going to start with this woman who would be the Penelope. I call them Penelopes. I know they're called Karens. This is the Penelope of the week. She was at her dentist's office and she teed off on the people working there. Let's take a look at that one.
You're going to work on my teeth, not my nose. I don't wear a mask getting my teeth cleaned.
But it's about the safety from all of our...
Fine, I'll cover my mouth. Can I go be seated now?
No, because you're not filling out the forms or letting us take your temperature. It's about protecting our...
You can't take my temperature. That's against the law.
All right, well, I can't...
You're not an MD.
We're not allowed to... We can't see you.
I have a right to sue you for harassing me, the manager, and this entire company, Smile, whatever you call it, dental. I do have that right, and I talked to my attorney before I came here, too. Okay. So does he want that to happen? I've waited long enough for my teeth to be cleaned, okay? Let's get this done, okay?
I can't. They're telling me I can't see you.
Who's there?
The owner of the practice.
I want to hear him. Get him on the phone. He has to send me in written writing, so I want to see your policy.
You shouldn't be in the building without a mask either.
I can do what I want.
No,
I'm free.
Can't.
It's not a law. It's not a law.
This is a medical law.
No, it's a dental office.
He has to written write me. Okay. he has to call or phone me. He has to call me at 10 a.m. in the morning. In case you didn't get that. I'm assuming these Karens, these Penelopes were around before the last 3 or 4 months. Why all of a sudden are these middle-aged white women erupting now and we're having evidence of that? That has to be something that's been around for a long time.
Maybe we just didn't catch them on video as much, but man, there doesn't seem to be any shortage of them either.
I'd like to have something of the Third Amendment that I've amended where cops get to taser people where they did something bad, but you don't want to take them to the police station and do any paperwork because it's not really worth that, but they do deserve some punishment and they get to taser. That's my amended Third Amendment. They get to taser these mopes with no questions asked and no paperwork, and that's their punishment, and they move on. I know we have concealed carry in this country. I don't have a gun, but I'd like to conceal carry a taser and then have it where we're protected, where this Penelope at the dentist's office and I'm sitting there waiting to go in and I got my face mask on. I get to tase her and she has no legal way to get back. I mean, nothing. I get to do it because it's just accepted that she's an a-hole.
There may be a few holes in this plan, but you're just shopping it right now,
really?
Right?
I think a lot of people are looking to do something to these people where you think, God, I want to do something. I want them to be punished. I want them to feel some hurt. I don't want to kill them necessarily, but I'd like to have something at my fingertips to give them some kind of, why are you bothering hassling these poor people? They're just following the rules. Just wear the goddamn mask.
Well, that's for now,
really,
please.
At this point. Is that such a big hassle? By the way, no phone calls this week if you were thinking of that, because Keith, who routes the phone calls, he's on vacation with his new bride. 773-888-2157 is the number for text and phone calls where you can leave a message. Usually,
and we are seeing your texts, Dave and Doggy Boy 58 and MSR 111 and Mark and everybody.
They're checking in. Appreciate it. Hope you had a good week, everybody. Let's go to this. Leslie found this vid. Now, producer Alan said, I think some of this is Photoshop, but take a look. And it's funny to watch anyway. This was on the 4th of July in Los Angeles. It looks like Iraq when we invaded.
Well, as they point out there, so, but you still get a sense that people are not paying attention to the fact that fireworks are illegal in LA.
Okay. Some of it might be photoshopped. It looks like it is, but still, it's fun to watch. And there were a lot of fireworks. There were a lot of fireworks in my neighborhood. I know, Leslie, you said your neighborhood looked like there was an invasion. So that couldn't be too far off, right?
Oh, no, it was total Mogadishu around here. At least 4 families had to have spent thousands.
Okay. We talked about on the show this week, this company, Tushy, that is asking people to send them a video of their fecal habits, and they will pay the person that they hire to do, what is it, a month using their bidet?
It's a 3-month consulting gig for $10,000. Yeah.
$10,000 if they pick you. And I thought, well, who would do this? And people are sending videos, and we're going to highlight one. This is Ashley. She has decided she wants this gig, and she's very thorough. Watch this.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Come on in. Hi, I'm Ashley, and this... Hello. My name is Ashley. Welcome to my favorite place in the world, my bathroom. As you can see here, I'm joined by my best friend and my spiritual guide, my Tushy Classic bidet. We've been together for 3 years. I installed her myself, I use her religiously, and I will not shut the up about her. I say, Tushy can make a 5-wipe situation into 1. As a menstruating human who enjoys experimenting in the kitchen, I sometimes up to 4 times a day. There's a lot of maintenance going on down under. So generally, I have a better day when I begin with a gentle spray. I have experience in acting, customer service, childcare, and of course, dropping kids off at the pool. Honestly though, through the duration of this quarantine, it's become even clearer how important it is to normalize bodily functions, bathroom talk, and our relationship to both. All of these things and more are why me, my gut, and my butt are the perfect trio for the VP of Fecal Matters at Tushy. We really appreciate you taking the time to view this video that I put a shit ton of energy into, and I truly hope to hear from you soon. Until then, we wish you happy shitting and namaspray.
Okay, just hire her. I don't think you're going to top that. Am I the only one that thinks this campaign is a bit bizarre, that they're getting, and I don't know who's on the staff at Tushy, but it seems like mostly women are sending videos of themselves on the can, and that's a fetish, isn't it?
Just a bit. And with that, I always think, what if you're the mom or the dad of Ashley, and you've spent all this money to put her through college with her acting degree, and she goes, hey, check out my gig. Are you happy?
$10,000 for that? I don't think so. I think I'd need a lot more, but she seems very into it. Just give her the damn job and call it a campaign. By the way, we're trolling for advertisers with product placement. You may have noticed that Jerry behind me has hard seltzer between his legs, which is the best way to go into the weekend. Right here. That's where we'll be. Alan said, hey, I'm down in Orlando, and you know where I get my pizza from? He gets his pizza from Lou Malnati's in Chicago. Alan, you want to? Yeah.
There we are.
And it's good, even delivered 1,000 miles away.
Oh yeah, the frozen stuff that they send. That's 1-800-LOU to go. Tasteofchicago.com.
Yeah, that's good pizza. So if you're interested in going deeper into the advertising with the Garrforce Cocktail Hour, please let us know.
Hurry in right now for the summer clearance event and get a new 2020 Jeep Cherokee for only $199 per month. No hassle, no haggle, no salespeople, and no pressure. Your best car buying experience starts now at BettonhouseandCDJR.com.
All right, let me bring my... one more photo, the airplane photo, Alan. The airlines are taking it on the nose, but this was done by Hale. And that's how well the planes are built. They can take a licking and keep on ticking, which reminds me, we have another video of a guy who has taken flight. This is a guy in Turkey. Watch this video and see what he's done while paragliding. This is amazing.
A paraglider has taken armchair travel to new heights, launching hundreds of metres into the air on a couch. There was no helmet or seatbelt, but a few creature comforts for the ride.
A first-class view. Sit back, take off your shoes, put on your slippers. Lounging around in plush leather with a drink and a snack and in-flight entertainment as the glorious scenery of the Turkish Riviera slides below. Before liftoff, there was not even a hint of nerves from thrill-seeker Hasan Kaval. He brings the big chute up into the breeze and, with the help of friends, is off into the wide blue yonder. That's his girlfriend saying, "See you when you get back." Maybe. But the breeze in his flowing locks, Hasan was the ultimate armchair traveller, with plenty of leg room and doing it all without a seatbelt. It was a flight 2 years in the planning, and it went up and came down without a bump. Charles Croucher, 9 News.
By the way, that female anchor at the beginning, she looked, this is a small observation, she looked as if it was Katie Couric smushed into Fergie. Fergie, the former royal Fergie, to me.
Now we're all going to have to watch it again. Thanks, Garry.
Okay, that couch looks like a real couch, not an inflatable couch. That had to be fairly heavy. And that's the way the Wright brothers saw it when they did it in the early 1900s. And someday there will be a guy on a couch and a TV screen and a camera and snacks. That's what we're going to do, Orville. That's why we're doing this.
I mean, I think part of the cool thing that he pulled off here was holding a selfie stick out that far while flying without a seatbelt.
No seatbelt, just sitting there watching TV. In my country, that's what we do. All right, let me bring my special guest on right now. This is John Davies. He is a producer, and he has done a number of things that we're going to talk about right here. One of the things that you did, John, that I don't remember was this show called Rerun on NBC back in the 90s.
Yes, back in the actually no, Gary. That might have been in the early 2000s, actually.
Okay, and explain the premise of this thing.
Well, years ago in Chicago, Jill Soloway, who's now gone on to all kinds of fame out here, and by the way, she is now Joey Soloway. She's gone through a name change. She did Transparent, 6 Feet Under, a lot of great shows. She used to work for my wife and I as a PA and food service and all kinds of things.
What's a PA? When you Hollywood types talk,
a production assistant.
Okay, and when they go upfronts and PA and DA and this, I'm out in the middle of the country. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll try and fill in as I go here. But so anyway, Jill came out to LA around the same time my wife and I did, early 90s. And we, of course, rekindled our friendship with her. And then Jill brought a show out here called The Real Live Brady Bunch, which she had been doing in bars all over the country. And what it was Jill would take an episode of The Brady Bunch and they would perform it pretty much word for word the way it was written. But they'd take advantage of what we now know about the cast. For example, that the father was gay, that Alice was also gay in real life, the actors. So Jill brought all of that, everything that you knew about the original cast, and it really changed and subtextually changed the script, made it really funny. It was a big hit in bars. When she brought it to LA, I went to see it. And afterwards I said, Jill, we should do this treatment to all kinds of crummy sitcoms. Excuse me, and we can sell it as a series. So Jill and I went to Columbia TriStar, made a deal with them to use their sitcoms. We went to the Writers Guild, made a deal with them to be able to cut the sitcoms down a little bit because we thought 10 minutes of each was enough, but not change a word. And then we sold it to NBC. And it was a summer comedy series called The Rerun Show. And in each half hour, by the way, it was right after Will and Grace, you would get 2 episodes. You might get Different Strokes and Facts of Life, Saved by the Bell and the Jeffersons, Bewitched and, Pick a Show. So this was a gas. And I sold it with Jill, and then almost as soon as I sold it, Jill got hired by Alan Ball to start working on 6 Feet Under. So I took on another partner, David Salzman, who had Mad TV on the air, and we ran it all through his Mad TV factory. And I loved the show. It was great. We brought a lot of guest stars on that used to be in these shows, like Gary Coleman, like Eric Estrada, like Marla Gibbs from the Jeffersons. So it was really a sort of a salute to pop culture in a funny way.
And you did the same dialogue. It was the exact dialogue. It's just kind of a pimp on it a little bit.
I'll give you an example. Like when an actor would say, yes, same dialogue shortened, but an actor might say to another actor, "Don't be so hard on him." So we play on the word hard on, you know. So our actors knew what words to have fun with. We were also allowed to make the setting different. For example, if the mother-daughter talk in the original sitcom took place at the kitchen table, we'd put them both on toilets in our version.
Okay.
And it changed the whole
You got this on NBC. This was on NBC.
Got it on NBC in prime time. The reason Jill and I were so blown away is we went to the networks that we thought would not take it. No way in hell, because you practice your pitch and you learn what's wrong with your pitch. Then we thought by the time we got to VH1, TV Land, it'd be a slam dunk sale to one of them or Comedy Central. Instead, the kids that were running NBC had graduated from VH1 and MTV, so they still had that sensibility and they bought it. So I was stunned. And I remember the Dallas Morning News called it the devil's work. They hated it so much.
And the Brady Bunch Live, they were in our radio studio and did that one afternoon. And Jane Lynch was part of that.
Yes.
And Conan's sidekick.
Yes, Andy Richter, Molly Shannon had done it too. But when I went to the show out here, I was sitting next to Quentin Tarantino, and he was just cracking up. I mean, it was a big hit for Jill here. And the one thing that amazed me and Jill was people said, going, she's going to get sued by Sheldon Schwartz or Sherwood Schwartz, the original creator. So we went to see him, and he said, "Are you kidding me? You've taken my old TV series and made it hip again." He got 2 movies out of that. So he loved Jill Soloway because she kind of reacquainted an audience to a hip way of playing it. I don't know if you remember the movies, but they basically stole Jill's take.
Yeah, all right. And then she went on to do this very popular
6 Feet Under and get all these Emmy nominations.
And then after that, the latest.
Oh my God, Transparent, based on her father,
who became a transgender, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's definitely from that relationship. And a lot of Jill's work is based on when she was a kid, she told me her and her sister, nonstop watched Different Strokes, Facts of Life, Brady Bunch, Partridge Family. That informed almost everything Jill has done, has informed some part of her work. And now, of course, she's gone full blown. She's Joey Soloway, and I'm not sure what's coming up next for. Oh, I think she's doing Supergirl or Wonder Woman or something now. And you can bet that her take on that's going to be interesting.
All right, let's move on to your latest project. It's called Lincoln is Crying, and it is about political corruption in the state of Illinois. John, why Illinois? Of all the gin joints you could have picked, why not Vermont? Why not North Dakota? Why Illinois?
Because the materials that we were using, well, first of all, I grew up there. I worked at WTTW. I went to Wheaton Central High School with the Belushis. I'm a total Chicago, Illinois suburbs. Lived downtown for years too. I just remember every time getting off the plane from LA, the first thing I would do at O'Hare is go buy a newspaper to see which politicians got their hand caught in the cookie jar today. Like in LA, we buy the paper, or we used to see which movie star got arrested last night with a DUI or for assaulting his wife. In Chicago, it's to see which politicians or judges are going to prison that week. So your entertainment there is politics. So myself and my partner, Brian Calloway, decided, let's do a little research on this. And what we discovered was that Illinois is the #1 most corrupt state in the United States by number of convictions and charges, and that Chicago is the #1 city. They surpass every other place in the U.S. So beginning with that premise, we did a deep dive on why is this? And my 90-minute doc makes a stab at explaining that. By the way, in fairness to your audience, Garry is in the film, and he's very funny in it. and
Very
he comments.
small
And I use
thank you.
I use a lot of Second City people too, but I also use 16 of the top political journalists in Chicago. They're in it too.
Give us some of the numbers, John, of where Illinois is at as far as debt, and the city of Chicago as far as debt. And this is pre-COVID. Coming out of COVID, the numbers are going to skyrocket.
Illinois is in financial ruin. It's almost a failed state. And I don't mean that the way politicians describe, Burkina Faso as a failed state or something. I just mean financially, it's in ruin. Illinois cannot afford one more big financial setback. They've already lost their bond ratings. They can't borrow money from New York banks. It has been so badly managed by governors and mayors from both parties, but primarily the Democratic Party, because they've had the reins of power longer than Republicans. It has been so grossly mismanaged that all any governor or mayor can do in Illinois, as soon as they get into office, they realize it's even worse than they thought it was. And rather than govern and be progressive, all they can do is figure out, how else can we tax these people? We got to come up with something else, man. Let's open casinos. Let's legalize pot. Let's get into prostitution. That's how desperate it is. And by the way, you think I'm nuts about this? There has been discussion about brothels. There has been.
Seriously.
Other states do it. Other states do it. It's disgraceful. So my film is a funny, sad look at this horrendous situation New York and Chicago found themselves in. And I've just begun to talk to WTTW about premiering it. They haven't said yes yet.
That's the public access station. Or
it's the big PBS station in Illinois. It's probably the number 3 most important one in the country. WNET in New York, WGBH PBS in Boston, and WTTW Chicago. Those are the big boys with giant, huge audiences. So they're I shouldn't say this. I don't know what they think of it yet. It is a depressing film. You've seen it, Gary, but I tried to make it funny. But at the end of it, you're really concerned about Illinois and Chicago, and you also understand why Rod Blagojevich got sentenced to 14 years. I made sure you understand that.
Okay, let's play this clip now. This is to promote Lincoln is Crying. This is the trailer. Let's look at this.
Teaser.
People ask me, you're talking about corruption in America. I don't get it. And I say, there's this place called Illinois. Have you ever heard of it? 4 ex-governors in prison.
Another day, another corruption scandal.
We're a state run by a group of pirates.
Dan Walker, terrible fall from grace.
Town president charged in a mob-connected insurance scheme.
Corruption. It's our brand.
Governor Blagojevich tried to sell the Senate seat vacated by President-elect Obama.
Congressman Jackson misused campaign funds.
It never stops in Illinois.
Comptroller embezzled $54 million.
Illinois is almost a failed state.
People have died because of corruption.
Governor Ryan goes to prison.
18 felony counts.
We have institutionalized corruption.
If Illinois voters want reform, they've given no evidence that they want it.
So you're looking for a distributor right now. That's where it stands.
Here's what I need to do given the current environment. Right now, because Illinois is going through so much hell, it's not the right moment to run it. You don't want to kick a dog when it's down. But I'm hoping to get it on just prior to the election. And the reason I needed to run in Illinois first is I needed to be reviewed. Because when I go to a streamer like a Hulu or an Apple or whoever, they want your film to have had some buzz. Well, in the old days, I could get buzz at a film festival, but there's no festivals happening, so I can't get buzz that way. So I'm going to have to run it somewhere to get the Rick Cogans of the world and other people. These are all Chicago writers, by the way, Gary's audience, to get some of the important writers in Chicago to talk about the film, good, bad, or indifferent. I hope they like it. It's got an interesting little, so once I get those reviews, once it's opened in Illinois somewhere, I'll get the reviews, and then I'm going to get it to a national streamer. Or, I mean, I could even take it to something like the Fox streaming network. I know they'd love it because it's not intentional on my part, but it turns out the majority of the criminals responsible for the most bad deeds in Illinois happen to be Democrats. Way more than Republicans.
Why don't the voters see this pattern for decades and try something different without playing a political card? Because I don't do politics, but this is just bizarre. This is a unique situation altogether. If the Republicans were in charge for 80, 90 years, it would probably be the same tenor. You can't have a party in charge that long without it being completely strangleholding what's going on. And that's what's happened. They found out all the exits. They block the exits. They keep their people in power, and everybody does whatever they want to do. But it's killing the state. Why does that continue? I mean, aside from their having power, can't somebody do something to break it up?
Three things have happened that's very depressing in Illinois. Overall voter turnout is horrendous. People are just throwing their hands up going, how can we fix this? It's such a mess. I'm not even going to bother to vote. I mean, Lori Lightfoot, the new mayor of Chicago, she didn't win in a landslide. A pathetic number of voters turned out and she won. I mean, congratulations to her. And she appears to be a reformer, I'm hoping. But Pritzker didn't win in a landslide. So voters don't show up. Sometimes neither candidate is any better than the other. They're both crooks. So the choices you get are so like, oh, who cares? Either one, it's a bad way. People get inured to it after a while. When you live in a city where every single day of your life, you wake up to a newspaper or a newscast or a radio cast or broadcast where another politician's going down, it just becomes the way of life. I mean, and I feel that that's happened even to some of my closest friends in Chicago. They say, well, he's not as bad a crook as the guy was before him. They're willing to accept crooks. And so we chastise the citizens in this film. I don't expect to be a popular guy when this comes out, but we did do it with a sense of humor. So hopefully people are entertained. And that's one of the reasons we went to you, because we knew you'd have some fun stuff to say, and you do. We have some other Second City people in it. We have some Curb Your Enthusiasm people in it. We have some, Veep people in it. And can I tell one other little secret, Garry, about it?
Call me Gory. Go ahead.
Yeah,
yes,
Gory.
Go ahead. Gory?
One of the little thing we did was we hired Abraham Lincoln's great-great-great-grandson to narrate the film.
Okay, here you go. Here you go.
He was pretty pricey. And even though we tell people at the top it's a fictional character, people don't get it. They think he's a real person because at test screenings, they'd say, why isn't he here tonight to defend himself? And I go, guys, he's a fictional character. There is no great-great-grandson. But we did that so we could have more fun with it. And younger people love the fact that I sprinkled a lot of humor in the telling of this story. Some of my older friends, the more serious journalists, they think that I didn't do a service. They say, John, it's a good piece of journalism. Why did you have to joke it up? But I'm more of an entertainer guy. I'm not a serious journalist. So it didn't feel right for me to try and do the John Calloway or the serious version of the story. It's all been fact-checked. I don't lie in it. And I think it's a very competent telling. I just don't see myself as that journalism guy.
All right. Let's end with something a little, I'm assuming it's lighter. You're going to tell a story. You worked with Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, the famed film critics, both deceased, sadly, out of Chicago, but who are nationwide. And you worked with them, and you said you have a funny story about what happened one time with them.
I have three. They're in a progression, but I can keep them short. I can get through them real quickly. I was on the show for only 2 weeks, and I was supposed to be typing Roger's script into the teleprompter. But I had read his actual review for the Sun-Times, and I thought, I don't think he means this script to be like this. So I sort of input his Sun-Times review because I didn't understand that this is the spoken word now, not the written word. I thought Roger would thank me for fixing his script. Well, down in the studio, he's like, who the hell wrote this? I don't want this. Of course, everybody moves away from me. And I said, I did. And, he said, how long have you been with us? I said, 2 weeks. He said, from this day forward, you will be known as the functional illiterate. So right. He beat me up for about a month. But that was, that was me not knowing anything about the written word versus the spoken word. And I learned a lot from that. Another quick story. The movie Cat People was coming out, and both these guys loved Nastassja Kinski, Klaus Kinski's daughter, who played this really hot girl in it. And so they used to both write Sunday pieces about celebrities. So I'm in the conference room upstairs, and Gene's there and Roger's there, and I'm typing the script. And Roger gets up and he says, oh, I'm sorry, I've blown this already. He didn't know Gene was in the conference room. Gene was sleeping under the table, getting a few winks. Roger gets up, goes to the phone, calls Nastassja Kinski's publicist, and books her. He says, hey, I'm going to be in New York later this week. I'd like to interview Nastassja on Thursday. And they're like, sure, Mr. Ebert, fine. He hangs it up. He says to me, John, I'm going down to the cafeteria, which always meant he'd be gone for a while because Roger was a big boy. And so he left the room. All of a sudden, Siskel rolls out from underneath the conference table, goes to the phone, presses redial, and cancels the interview. And then he looks at me, he goes, not a word. Roger gets to New York. There's no Nasasakinski at the hotel. He's fit to be tied. So that's how competitive they were with one another. And that's the kind of stuff they do to each other. And my last story is this. My wife worked on the movie The Fugitive. And this is by the time we'd lived in LA. And we went to the giant party for all the cast and crew at the famous producer's house, Arnold Kopelson. And all of a sudden, his Spanish maid came out of a little room at the back of his garden and said, Mr. Kopelson, Ciskel and Ebert are on. There was a stampede. I mean, stars running, stepping over people. That's how powerful these guys were. I didn't get it when I worked for them. I got it when I moved out here, and I saw that two big thumbs up thing, that could make or break a movie. And I really saw tangible evidence of everybody's concern at that Beverly Hills garden party that day. And those are my Ciskel and Ebert stories.
And sad endings to both of their lives, too. And they were friends. I had a number of encounters with them on the show and off the air and really enjoyed their company. All right, John Davies, the functional illiterate, joining the program today. Thank you, John, and good luck. I'll let people know when that is available. Lincoln is Crying.
Thanks so much, Gary. Always been a fan, continue to be, and I hope this podcast continues. I'd love to hear you back on Real Radio in Chicago, but I'm old school. This is just fine.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Leslie, the banner there, by the way, provided by 2Ks, the 2Ks company in Franklin Park. Frank DeFino and his great family, and Melanie and Brian worked on the banner and did a great job. And thank you, Leslie, for your input today. And I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, Gary. Always a pleasure. Always great to start the weekend with all of you guys.
Everybody, thank you. Time to take some cannoli. It's complimentary. There it is. Looks nice. Leslie, what should people do with the schnauzer this weekend?
We're going to flex the schnauzer.
Ooh. Yeah, there it is. All right.
That could take some time, but, work on it.
There you go. Be gentle. The Garrforce, 3 in the green. The gear's down. The flaps are down. Flying dirty. Have a great weekend. Back on Monday. We have landed.